Hey guys, today we're going to talk about what it's actually like to be a pro. Not that long ago, Become Elite, who is you could call a role model of mine, came out with this video talking about Gareth Bale's quote. And I thought a lot of it rung true, and I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my perspective. So Gareth Bale says this, and I'll let you guys read the quote there for a second. Basically what he's saying is, when you become a pro, your feelings of enjoyment can, in time, dissipate. That feeling you had when you were a kid playing pickup with your friends tends to go away as a pro, according to him. Now, in my personal experience, I do have a couple thoughts about this. First of all, there's certainly truth to what he's saying. When you become a pro, this is a job. This is just like other people clock in to work at LA Fitness, which I've done before, or Uber, which I've done before, or deliver pizzas, which I've done before. This is a job. That is the point. Now, this is the really important part to remember. You are, he puts it as a robot, I think you're a piece of meat. The moment you don't serve a purpose because you're injured or you can't help the team, even if the coach or the players or the fans love you, you serve no purpose anymore. In horse racing, when a racehorse can no longer run, they kill it. It's a lame horse and it has no purpose anymore. That's basically what you are when you become a pro. The only reason I say this is because you, on your journey of becoming a pro, should know that that's what it's like. Now, if that changes your mind, then you're not cut it to make it a pro anyways. But it's an important factor because along the way, especially early on in my career, a coach shows you love or support, and a teammate does as well, and the owners do. And that's a lovely, privileged place to be. And that's what you should think of. You've been deemed, because of who you are as a soccer player, and who you are as a person, but mainly who you are as a soccer player, that you can serve a purpose in this team. And that's a privileged place to be. There are thousands and there are millions of people who want to play pro. There are thousands who are pro, hundreds of thousands, and yet you are the limelight for this moment. So that should feel amazing. But you should know that every moment that can change. I mean, look at Aguero. He's playing as probably the best striker ever in the Premier League. Pep Guardiola comes in, likes Gabriel Jesus, who was young, new, upcoming. The best goal scorer in the Premier League, or one of the best, is no longer playing. He was the shining armor. Now, as of this very moment, depending on watching this video, he hasn't played in a game since leaving Manchester City. This is pro sports. This is pro soccer. And one of the things that's really important, and something I do when I work with players individually, is we talk about how do we keep that childlike enjoyment of the game in our bellies while we're playing. No matter the pressures, no matter what the fans might say, or what the fans don't say, or what your parents or family, or what the contract says. I was playing in Sweden, and I was on a good amount of money, because when you're a foreigner, there's a minimum salary that you have to make. And that was a lot. I felt the pressure of that. And it wasn't really because of the fans or the coaches, but I just knew that I was a costly figure to the club. And so when I was put on the bench, I was thinking my expectations were to come in and certainly play. The fact that I'm on the bench makes me feel twice as worse, because I've got this, I'm worth X amount of money, and now I'm not filling my requirements as they desired. Now, you work through it. I came through it in the end, and I started playing and making a big difference, but it still weighed on me mentally. So how do we almost disregard those things and stay in the present moment? And that's when we talk about a lot of sports psychology strategies and mental strategies, and I've worked with the best sports psychologists in the world, and that's where I like to share that information with you guys. But in regards to what it's like to be a pro, the reason I want to share all of this is you want to remember regardless of what your team you are on, almost at any level, even the club level in America, the coach is playing you not because he loves you as a person, but because he likes the way you play soccer. So when he doesn't play you, it's not because he doesn't like you as a person, it's because he doesn't like the way you play soccer, or she doesn't like the way you play soccer for that moment in time, and it will change. This is the natural order of being an athlete, let alone a pro athlete. And my job, or my hope, is that if you reach out to me and you want to work with me, I can help you over those speed bumps. So that way, when you feel the pressure from a professional contract or a college full scholarship, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not living up to expectations, I can help you create strategies that will mentally help you overcome those hurdles. And I've discussed a lot of those in previous videos. Really, what you need to know about being a pro is, in his quote, he also explained that being a pro is a short lifespan. So it might be worth, as he says, being like a robot, being told when to eat, when to show up for training, when not to, because it's a special opportunity to be able to get paid to wake up every morning to play soccer. And if you can perform well and love it, which usually are one and the same, if you're performing well, you love it, and if you love it, you're performing well, then you've got the best job in the world, obviously. The other part that Gareth doesn't talk about, and this is very true to me, is the setbacks and injuries of the sport. When you go pro, certainly when I went pro, I remember I signed my first contract at Sacramento Republic, and I was, on the moon. And I thought my career will just shoot up from here. And my goal still today is to play in the Premier League. And I remember I was playing in Sac Republic. I became rookie of the first 3 to 6 months. There was an article written, I had all these fans, I would become really popular, I scored my first pro goal, very exciting times. Then the coach left, new coach came in, a guy named Paul Buckle, and within 2 days we were playing Sunderland from the Premier League. Sunderland, the Premier League team. And as it so happened, my face and name was the poster for the game coming up. So it said Zev Taublib, or it showed a picture of me rather, and then underneath it said Sacramento Republic versus Sunderland. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm one step closer to my dream of playing in the Premier League. I'm going to play against a Premier League team tonight. And I come off the bench, I play against Lee Cattermole, who played in the Premier League so many times. And then I thought, this is amazing, this is amazing. 2 days later, the coach came and spoke to me, the new coach, and said he didn't want me there and he wanted to trade me to a team in Malta. And I said I didn't want to go to Malta, I wanted to stay with the team. He didn't want me anymore. And that's how it happened. And eventually, I was traded to the Eastern Conference with a team called Wilmington Hammerheads, last place in the Eastern Conference when I arrived. And that was crazy. And then after that, oh my gosh, I was at Wilmington. After Wilmington, I played a game against Toronto's second team. And when I was playing youth soccer, there was a guy named Dan Couchman. He had become the assistant coach at Toronto's MLS team. So he had seen me play against his second team. He already knew me from my youth career, and he invited me on trial at Toronto. So I had gone from Sacramento, high of highs, playing in front of 10,000 people, played against Sunderland, the highest of the highs, cut 2 weeks later, sent to the worst team in the Eastern Conference. A year later, on trial with an MLS team, they said no. I went back to the USL, played for Charlotte Independence, didn't play a single minute the entire season. Out of nowhere, I had played against another player in the USL who was about to retire. He liked my style. He sent my video to a coach in Sweden who he used to play for. They loved my video. I went on trial there. I scored 2 goals in 2 games, which I've never done in my entire career. They signed me to a contract. I played there for a year. We almost get relegated. I decided to leave that team, go to a bigger club in Sweden, had fantastic until I fractured my foot and missed basically the end of the season. And then after that, my work permit was up. I was in a different place in my career. I wanted to come home, so I joined Richmond Kickers in the USL in 2020, and then I tore my ACL, and we're in 2021. I'm healing, and I'll be back for the following season. and that's pro soccer. I mean, is that not nuts? I was about to swear, but it's absolutely nuts. I'm sorry, I'm choking up because that's how this sport can be. Anyways, I think that gives the realm of what it's like to be a pro. Talk to you guys soon.